Everybody, John Ponick with the Mojave Valley Daily News, and we're here for our Wednesday afternoon Q&A. We've got our Facebook Lives up, so just enter we got on YouTube, right, Jeff, too?
Yes, sir.
All right, so just enter your question in the comments there, and if they pass the muster, we will ask our guest, and our guest is very special. It's Gracie.
Right.
Hi, Gracie.
Yay, Gracie!
No.
And
Wrong.
she brought along her owner,
The doggy.
the Laughlin Chamber president and CEO, the head of the Laughlin Visitor and Tourism Commission, Visitors
So it's
Commission.
Laughlin Tourism Commission and Visitor Center.
I'm just going to keep shouting out words until
I'll
you
get
go.
it.
Can you get to her
Yeah,
name, please?
I got it.
Jackie Mazzeo.
Yes.
Mazzeo, it's still
yeah,
Mazzeo.
let's talk about that
Okay,
for
let's
just
talk
a
about
second
it.
because people are going to be needing to know who I am.
Yes, who are you?
So I am Jackie Mazzeo, but
Today.
But I lost my father in 2018. I just lost my brother in January. Both of them still had my maiden name, and I am, after this divorce, I am proud to take my father's and my brother's name back. So security has already got it through. The judge says it's fine. Now it's on to MVD and then the passport. And
it's Wallen.
so it will be Wallen, Wallin.
Jackie
So I'll be
Wallen.
back to my birth name.
Good for you.
Yay! I'm
That's
so
awesome.
excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Those-
so anything you see now will probably be Mazzeo Wallen for a little while so people don't get too confused.
And you're going to get a bunch of, is Jackie Mazzeo there? Who? Jackie Wallen.
Oh,
All
my
right.
staff's already got my business cards made.
Yeah?
Yes.
That was the day after the divorce?
Yes, it was. It's hysterical.
Well, those of you, I don't know that there's anybody watching that doesn't know who Jackie is. Jackie has been running the chamber for 6 years now.
Yes.
About 2 years ago, you finished the academy,
Western Arizona Chamber Executives Academy.
which is a huge deal. And then it seems like over the past couple of years, they've just been saying, "Hey, you're doing a great job. Can you take this too?"
You know what? The Academy certainly helped.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot about the functions and sterile environments of what a nonprofit chamber does. But in reality, when Connie Davis passed away, we had a hard time finding someone to take that position. I was president of the chamber board at the time, and we had a hard time finding somebody that could meet the passion for the town, for the community as a tri-state. So I interviewed people over and over again, and they came from metropolitan areas when they wanted like $160,000 a year. They wanted 8 paid vacations,
Right.
and they knew zero about Laughlin, Bullhead City, Mojave County, anything. They didn't even know we had a lake above the dam. So that's when
There's a lake above the dam?
so that's when I said, you know what, maybe I was running casinos for 28 years. The last was 10 years at the Regency. And I said, maybe it's time for this grandma to go to a non-365, 24-hour-a-day, no Christmas off environment. So I put my hat in the ring, and I'm glad I did. Because now I can support the casinos and the businesses on both sides the way that I want to.
Yes, and that's one thing is that you are entrenched in the casino environment, I guess, and now as the president of the chamber for a few years now. But you also have been living on our side forever, right?
So 34 years I've worked in Laughlin, and 34 years I've lived in Arizona. That's what my children wanted. And so because you raise children in areas and they want to be a part of certain communities, you do it. And I've just not left. But that's because I don't see the border.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people. There are some people that are really businessy and very invested, and they see a border. I don't see a border.
I was going to pull up the photo of one of our photos from the bridge, over the bridge thing that we did. Yeah, holding up the bridge, one community separated by a river. All
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I was going to do that, but I ran out of
building
time.
building the bridge.
Building the
That's-
bridge, yeah. And that's really, I know that when I was hired as the president of the Bullhead Chamber, there was a lot of issues going on between the chambers in the past, and that was something that I think was real important that we got fixed right away, and we got it fixed right away.
Of course.
I mean,
Because that's the right thing to do.
you seemed a little sketchy when you first came into my office, though, for sure.
Well, it's kind of scary. But when you think about it, we're not one without the other. We really aren't.
100%. I don't know if people know this, but last I heard, and you can correct the numbers if you are able, it was 87% of the people that work in those casinos live on this side.
Well, at present, it's probably a little bit lower, but I would
numbers
say
are down, but-
conservatively, it's probably about 83%. But the actual Earth does tilt just a little bit when it's shift change, right?
Yes.
Because most of the people, 83% of them, come from the Arizona side or Arizona. There are employees that live in Needles, so it's not rare to think that most of the employees come from another jurisdiction. We only have 8,000 residents on the Laughlin side. So where are you going to get your pool?
Yeah, for sure. 8,000 is where you're at. I know that Kane's talked. He gets numbers anywhere from 7 to 10,000. Maybe that's the time of the year or whatever. We have a question. Do you know this lady?
Oh, yes.
Maria Pinecker? What's the difference between the Chamber of Commerce and the Laughlin Tourism Commission?
That's a really good question because people don't really understand the difference. So Laughlin Chamber, we are just like I can't say we're like any other chamber because we learned
Totally
that.
not.
We learned this at.
If you've seen one chamber, you've seen one
chamber.
Yeah.
We learned this at Chamber Executives Academy. Our chamber is different, even different than the Bullhead Chamber, in that our board members are made up of 18 people. There's 5 from Arizona, 5 from Nevada, and 8 that govern the resorts. Who founded us?
Mm-hmm.
Now the resorts pay not a membership fee. They pay a support fee, and the members pay by number of employees.
Right.
So when we do an event, we're not allowed to keep the money. So
Which is unusual.
really very unusual because normally when a chamber does an event, they're doing a fundraiser for themselves to keep themselves above water, keep their coffers full. But for us, Connie Davis 5K, the Chef's Food Fest, the Community Achievement Awards, Rockets Over the River, any of those that we do fundraisers for, all the money goes to the 501c3, like Freedom of Expression. We do that art event just because we want to raise money for children's art programs all down the valley.
And the Connie Davis is one that goes to
The River Funds,
the River
Cancer
Fund,
Connection.
cancer part of it, right?
And the Cancer Connection, it will help anybody who's a cancer warrior pay for expenses that aren't covered by insurance. So
Right.
if they're getting treatment in Vegas and they need fuel, we give them the fuel money.
Okay. Did your phone ring at all?
So now do you want to talk about LTC?
Here's the question. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So that's one governing board. My other governing board is Laughlin Tourism Commission, and that is, I report to the GMs of the resorts. It's like a country club. Only the GMs of the resorts can be on this board of directors. And so they go to me to look at a event. Then at that event, we decide as I present to them, then they decide whether they want to sponsor it. The sponsorship money comes from the bed tax dollars that are paid
TOT
to
fund.
TOT funds that are paid, and we get a percentage of that back. So we get a budget. And so that's how we're able to do Best in the Desert, Snore, Rockets Over the River,
Those are
the
tourism
5K walk.
events.
Those are tourism
So
events.
the way by law what it is it has to go to tourism, and there's one or two other things that go in there. Economic development, I think, might be part of it, but part of the way the law is designed is that the TOT money, the bed tax money, has to go towards that. So you're able to take that money and use it for those events rather than having to get sponsors and all that other stuff. It's basically sponsored by the casino TOT money.
Yes. So
That's
and
awesome.
so their mission is very simple. We sponsor events that increase occupancy,
Right.
and by doing townwide events. Period.
Right, so we take that tax, we have an event, that event brings people into town, they have to stay in our rooms, and
Builds more TOT.
may spend a little money down on the floor.
Maybe.
All right, here's a question that I
Okay.
think you're gonna love.
Okay.
From Brandy Lynn. Any nightlife coming back to the casinos at any time soon? Now the vaccine's out and the casinos are open, when are bars and restaurants going to open?
Okay, so the official answer is I can't tell you
Right?
what acts are coming, but I sat in a resort draft today for the tickets at the Laughlin Entertainment Center, and we did a draft for 4 events in one day.
So that means that you selected 4, and when you say that you drafted them,
Concert.
you said this person, this person, this band, this band.
Okay. And the resorts come in and they pick how many seats they want for them to build into packages to sell to their guests.
So once it gets to that point, it's a done deal. These people are coming.
They're done.
Just who's getting how many tickets to their resort.
Right, and I can't tell you who
You
yet.
can't say who it is yet, but
The
we
man
know that
says
it's-
no.
Yes, the decision maker.
Sean Hammond, Golden Entertainment, he will do the announcement when he's ready. But the resorts are ready. And they bought a lot of tickets today.
Sean, we need you to come on to our show when you're ready and make that announcement on here.
You will not be disappointed.
Yeah?
I know, I'm so excited. I
And
mean, if
you
we're
know
going to come out, we're going to come out with a bang.
And we know that is there any hint in there? Did anybody pick up any sort of hint when she said
The
that we're
bang.
gonna
I
come
just
out
heard
with-
the bang.
Yeah. So does that sound like any specific band or anything that we
Not
can...
Kiss.
Mike? Not Kiss. I was thinking maybe
Kiss
Kiss.
was the last one before the close down and
Yes, sir.
everything, right? Yeah, I was there.
Me too.
So Laughlin Visitor Center, we just acquired that in January. LBCVA, because of the lack of TOT dollars and funds coming into that organization for the state, they had to close our visitor center.
All
So
right.
Meg is working from home.
Meg
She's
McDaniel.
still Meg McDaniel. She's still working with me. She's still vice president of the rural areas, Pahrump, Mesquite, Boulder, and Laughlin. But we moved her visitor center over to our property.
So it's inside the chamber?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we have all of them there. That powerful corner is just getting into a smaller
You
building.
need a bigger building.
Yeah, we
that
do.
that was a little snug already, and then you add that in there.
But it was donated by Don Laughlin, so it has a lot of sentimental value.
See if he'll donate another one that you can
A
attach to the
fourth?
other side. Yeah.
It's already a 3 wide. Now we can do a 4 wide.
Yes, Brandy, live entertainment. That's what it is. It will be live entertainment.
Starting in September.
We got a couple people asking about. It's the same guy. They asked a couple times about the River Run.
Yes.
So, what can you tell us about the River Run?
Mayhem, the main event.
Well, yes.
So it is just essentially replacing the River Run, or if you want to call it the River Run, you can. Nobody's going to be mad.
Right,
It's just that you can't print it.
right. You can't print it because that name belongs to somebody who purchased it.
Dalcon Promotions.
And last year they didn't do it, and this year they're not doing it.
Correct.
But we would assume, right, that it would probably be back next year.
I will
as the
never
River Run?
assume. It's one of the 4 agreements. You don't assume. Go right to the source and ask, are you bringing it back next year? And I can't get a hold of that person right now. But
But this has been, and that's been a problem in the past, not being able to get a hold of that person.
no, we worked pretty close together before COVID came. And it's just trying to build back from 2002, from the shootout at Harris, is always going to be an issue. And the biggest issue of any event when it comes to motorcycle rallies or concerts, 1 October in Las Vegas and our shootout here at Harris is going to be the expense of Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And I can tell you, it's in excess of $150,000.
Provide security for basically like 5 days.
Yeah, and that's just for the promoter. That's not counting per property.
Oh yeah, property would have to have their own thing.
So, and the Gaming Control Board regulates whether we need those kind of things. Like now, the Gaming Control Board is going to be our guidance counselor when it comes to easing up the guidelines or protocol for COVID-19. So instead of most counties or most cities having to report to their county or the locals, or Southern Nevada Health District in our case, the Gaming Control Board takes over, because if you don't follow the protocols, you lose your gaming license.
And nothing is
heavy.
worse than that.
It's heavy. So yes, we are having a run. You call it whatever you want. I'm excited because 17 of my friends are coming from the Western United States. I haven't seen them for 2 years, and we get to ride together.
And I'm excited because it's literally right over there is where it's going to be headquartered. So Larry Topping is going to be in here next week, sitting
Yes.
in this seat, answering questions about it. He was here yesterday, and we did a little promotional.
And Ryan Granith.
Yeah, Ryan was here last week, and we talked to him about his part of it. So we're going to have a lot more information on it. But yeah, like you said, call it what you want. You can call it the River Run. You can call it the Mayhem Main Event.
Just come and ride.
It's going to be amazing. I've talked to Larry and Ryan both about different things. Are you going to be on the Men of Fire ride?
Well, of course.
Okay.
What was really fun about this whole event coming to fruition was that because I was the old lady in the group, I was the one who had been to almost every run, and these younger gentlemen like Ryan and Larry were really looking to me for some guidance. And I was more than happy, being a biker, right, to give them everything that they needed, all the tools, all the contacts they needed, and, you know, budgets and task lists of things to do so that they didn't miss anything. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad that they were able to listen to my advice, and we were able to talk very openly and objectively about what they were getting into, and then say, don't bite that whole apple. Bite off pieces at a time, because we may not be able to have the biggest river run, but we're going to have the funnest river run.
Right, absolutely. That whole parking lot up there, he's got 3 suites, he's got the parking lot, he's got music, he's got nightclub stuff going on. There's just a pile of things that are going to be awesome about it. But we'll get into that with him next week. However, your VIPs are playing a big role in that.
Well, why wouldn't they? The blue shirts are everywhere.
So let's talk about the VIPs,
Okay.
Volunteers in Partnership. They are similar to the Chamber's ambassadors, except for they're about 3 times the size.
Yes.
And they do all of your chamber things, but they also
Do all the events that benefit 501c3s in this tri-state area. So if you have a 501c3 and you're putting on an event and you need some help, you know, because 501c3s don't have a whole lot of staff,
Right.
Then we help. Just about anything. And every year they raise enough money to give away $10,000 in January to a multiple of 501c3s who are struggling and who touch their hearts. This last year we were able to do Hearts for Horses for the first time, and that's where the horses are going that are being abandoned or abused in our area. So those are the kind of things they give money back to. So they had a struggling year trying to put money back in the bank, and their balance in their bank is just a little lower than they're comfortable with. So when Larry offered them exclusive at Water Rights to sell water at the Mayhem Main Event and also have the exclusive inside the tattoo convention, because you can't have alcohol in there, it just lit their fire. And they're also helping with, of course, ticket sales at the door and banding and that kind of stuff. But they're so excited.
Oh, and they're such hard workers. If you've flown into the Laughlin Airport and you've seen the ladies and gentlemen walking around in the blue VIP shirts helping people, that's them.
They do that for free.
Yeah.
They are airport ambassadors for free just because they want to meet new people and share the love of their own piece of paradise. But we are looking for a few more volunteers. Some of our volunteers are just a little too mature to be out there in the heat. Mature, like spicy, like
Gotcha.
They're more experienced. I don't know how to say. They're older than us, and they can't sit out all day. So this is one of those
That's a lot of
events
work.
where they cannot, and so we are looking for some volunteers to help us those 4 days, and it's mostly in the night hours, like the 7:30s to 10:30s, where the more mature volunteers
Are
don't
heading
want to be
home
out there.
and-
It's
I get
bedtime.
that. There's a lot of Rosemary Michaels is on with
Hi,
us.
Rosemary.
Yeah, and so they typically will give away like $10,000 or more.
$10,000 a
to-
year every
to different-
January.
Yeah, so they go out there. When they do earn money, that goes into an account for them to distribute at the end of the year.
Yes.
But-
Reconciled by our CPA. It is a standing committee in our bylaws.
So you have does the chamber have a foundation or a 501c3?
No, we're a 501c6.
Yeah.
They are a 501c3.
The VIPs are a 501c3? Oh, okay. All right. Good. I didn't know.
So all the money they raise goes away unless they have to buy some new headlamps or some new walkie-talkies or something silly that they use at an event. But, they go out to invest in the desert and in snow, and they park cars in the correct parking stalls, and they eat dirt all day and make tons of money, like $5,000 for every event.
Yeah.
They just put it in the bank and they watch it grow.
They're hard workers. They work your CAAs as well every
They
year. the
CAAs,
Community Achievement Awards.
the Community Achievement Awards, the Chef's Food Fest. They always put their little chef's hat on and come out and help us and help interact. They are mentors to Interact and Key Club students who are trying to learn how to be an effective volunteer in a community. And they take great example from that.
Billy Frando was asking about new ownership at the Mojave Valley Speedway. We did a video on that a few days ago. I don't know if you know anything about them or not.
I do not. I am a spectator
Yeah.
at the raceway.
That is very, very far away from the Laughlin Chamber.
But let's talk about
Actually,
that
down
for a
in my
second.
neighborhood. Yes,
I
ma'am.
get more phone calls that say, I want to open up a business, but I am blah, 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 or I am blah, 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 or I'm in Southern California. What chamber do I call? When I said, you called the right one. Chambers don't, when you say I'm the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce, we're not just Laughlin businesses. When you say Bullhead Area Chamber of Commerce, you have members that are resorts.
Yeah.
I have members that are Culvers, that are newspapers, that are
Wait, we're a
cities.
member of the Laughlin Chamber?
Yes, you are. So, focus,
Sorry.
focus. So, when
Right here, John.
right here, John, right here. So when somebody says a chamber of commerce, that chamber of commerce is helping anyone that desires their services, tailored and unique to that chamber. So we might have different kinds of services, especially marketing techniques, than the Bullhead area does, or than Kingman does, and we all share. We're all in a chamber kind of guru group together, but. Right now, I'm getting a lot of support from Nevada and Arizona in chambers because we don't have a government right now. Since COVID started, we have lost our town manager and our town liaison to the county because we are not a city. We are a township. Budget does not allow for them to send somebody high paid down to our government center in Laughlin to provide any assistance for our community. So wait a second, let me turn the hat.
I was going to say, you know what that means. Next, you're going to be talking to your new town manager.
No. I don't have those kind of degrees. But what it meant was that somebody had to step up. And when Workforce Development and LVGVA and Council Chambers for Nevada came together and decided to give out grants and pay businesses 50% of their payroll expense for up to 6 months, I went out and vetted 5 businesses in Laughlin, and we paid their payroll, 50% of their payroll for 6 months, and they didn't have to be chamber members. I went to those who were providing an essential service, and whether it was food, delivery, newspaper, whatever it was, that's how we vetted them, and we continued to pay them. And then now we've done all the testing, and we've done all of the vaccines, and Donna Kelly has stepped up being our medical professional.
We know that there was a lot of things that the Laughlin Chamber was doing during the whole COVID thing. So that I got a lot of phone calls and messages saying, see what the Laughlin Chamber's doing. That's awesome. We really need their help. So,
We worked so hard.
so that was awesome. Got a couple things here. Maria said the VIPs assisted with Cornfest on the same day as the CAAs. So they worked out there in the heat during the day and went up and
at
worked the
CAAs.
CAAs.
Yes, they did.
David Abeda asked, "Is the Avi part of your chamber?"
No, it's not.
Yeah, there's only like 1 or 2 that aren't.
So you have to be resort defined.
Okay.
So the Regency can be a member, but they don't have a resort. They're not resort
Okay.
defined. They don't have rooms.
Sure,
So
see.
they can be a member and be invoiced based on the number of employees. But on either side of them is the Aquarius Edgewater. They're defined resorts, and they are considered a supporter. The only ones that are not at this time, and we're getting close, is the Riverside. They had some problems in the past and didn't agree with some of the ways that LTC was being operated. So I'm hoping that I've been able to win them over with my practices. And we also have Laughlin River Lodge, who is not a participant right now because of financial reasons. And then the AV, they have reasons. They're off the beaten path. They don't think that they would benefit from LTC or the chamber based on the fact that they're not on the strip.
Fairway, yeah.
Right. And they don't want to be defined as a resort because it's more money.
Oh, okay. The resort
Definition.
is that other part that's not the membership part.
It's the resort support.
It's a resort
Yeah.
support.
They're not members, but they get more than a member would because they're super.
I got a
super
question
special.
real quick
Fire.
that went by that you missed.
Okay.
When are the nightclubs opening up? Do you know that answer?
Well, as soon as the governor says go, and Gaming Control Board says you guys are doing a great job, you can handle it, that's when we get to go.
I see.
So I suspect now that we've gone to a little bit higher percentage on the floor, I don't think it's going to be long because we are really doing a good job at being compliant.
You know,
Maybe
don't
by
let-
summer, hopefully.
Don't let Jeff BS you. That question didn't come up. He wants to get out to the
Oh,
nightclub.
he wants to go dancing.
Yeah.
Go, Jeff.
I see him every
I, mean,
day.
I should have expected him to throw me under the bus, you know?
So he's a dancer and an angel?
Yeah, he is. He is.
He pulled up right behind me when I got rear-ended in November.
I did.
And I had my helmet on, full face helmet at that. And I was yelling at the guy that hit me. And I said, get over here and pick up my bike. You knocked it over. And I was so mad. And Gracie was on my back. And she went down too. And I was just so mad that somebody hit me. Because it was obvious,
bike.
right? Well, right. It's my bike. And then he said, I ain't picking up your bike. And he says,
Uh-oh.
ma'am, settle down. Everything's going to be fine. Don't get so mad. And then I pulled off my helmet. And he said, oh, hi, Jackie.
That's what happened, yeah.
It was so funny. And then he put my dog in his car, and the dog opened up her own backpack just so she could play
She
with this stuff.
unzipped it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
She
That's funny.
unzipped it.
Good girl, Gracie.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you will run for office.
I'm not a politician.
Somebody else asked about resort fees. Amy, I think you'd have to. What do you want to know about resort fees? There are resort fees at most of them over there, right? There's still one or two that
There
are
are
holding
some
on.
that say no resort fees, and you will be able to find those out by either going to their webpage or looking at their marquee.
I wanted to.
You know, laser tag is opening back up.
Is it when?
I don't know. I saw the sign
Soon?
today.
All right, good. What I asked Jeff to pull up the visitlaughlin.com website. You got it up? I just wanted it, Jeff, if you can run through that a little bit and. Sure.
What I'm going to do is just kind of scroll down so people can get an idea of what the website looks like
I
here.
think that website is amazing.
Welcome to Laughlin. There's casino resorts and hotels there, a list of those. Wondering what to do in Laughlin? We have something for everybody to enjoy. Let's
So
see
he's on the
here.
Visit Laughlin website.
Visit
Okay,
Laughlin.
so that's the one that's maintained by Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. The one that I just built is LaughlinChamber.com, and it has visitors, tourism, and chamber on it.
Well, maybe we should go to that one,
You can switch
John.
over to that. In the meantime, Terry King suggested, Jeff, that you can dance with them at Mayhem. At the Mayhem
No,
main event. Jeff and I are gonna be over
I was
there.
kidding. I'm not a dancer.
Oh, we'll teach you.
Jeff and I are going to be over there a couple times shooting some live promotional videos. Mayhem is up in the Riverview Mall. The Riverview Mall here on Miracle Mile. So we're going to be up there with he's going to have one section. Here's what I know so far.
Yes.
There's going to be one section that's going to have 100 tattoo artists.
That is the old stage suite, okay?
All those stores I couldn't keep track.
The one just north of Big Lots.
Then he's going to have one that is going to have 2 biker bars inside of it.
Yes. With
What store was that? Do you know?
that's the Beals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to have another one that I think is going to have vendors in it. Is that right?
Well, we were going to put some in the skating rink.
Yeah.
But it needs some help.
Yeah, that needs a lot of
They
help.
won't say anything, but they're going to have vendors outside.
I got the website. It is, did you say LaughlinChamber.com?
Uh-huh.
I got it up. So we'll show that real quick. We got about 1 minute here, and we'll let John take the show over here.
So can I talk about the website?
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk
We're
to
showing
him while
it.
he's
Go
doing
ahead.
So what we did was we went out for some grants, and they were Nevada Commission on Tourism or Travel Nevada grants, and we got a lot of money. And the money paid for production of the video, rebuild of the website, but it had to include tourism and it had to include visitors. We got a whole new website. That was one. The second one was News West Publishing or Mojave Valley Daily News helped us print an additional, on top of the 5,000, 12,500 guides that said Laughlin is open and welcomes you safely. And we sent them to every airport and every visitor center in the Western United States.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then the last one was the billboards. So we put billboards down the 10 in Southern California, across the 10 in Arizona, and down the 15 corridor in Las Vegas. And they all said, Laughlin is open and welcomes you safely. And they had pictures of all the outdoor recreation that we do, off-roading, motorcycling, whatever you want to do.
Nice.
And they were so popular.
And did you use those to drive people to your website?
Yes,
And
and
have you-
to remind them that we are only, so if you were driving down through the 10 in Arizona, down in Phoenix, it would say, Laughlin is open and welcomes you safely, and it would have a picture of a motorcycle or off-road side-by-side, and it would say, and you can be here in 3.5 hours.
Right on. Good.
Because when you're riding down the freeway on Wednesday and Thursday, and you're coming up on the weekend and you want something to do, oh, I forgot about Laughlin.
And I got to get out of this friggin' traffic. Get me out of here.
Right.
Take me to the water. Take me to the casinos.
And it surely helped having the wonderful weather at the end
Gracie.
of the year.
Gracie, you need to come over here. People want to see you.
Can you hold her up to the camera here? They want to see her.
Gracie.
There you go. We'll go out with Gracie, John. That's going out with a bang right there.
All right.
This is what adopting.
They adopted each other. Don't let her fool you. They
This
adopted
is what
each
adopting means.
other. Right?
We saved each other.
lives. Yeah. Jackie's had a rough
Couple of years, yeah.
yeah. And I think that this is, I think we all know what the importance of having a pet.
I'm
So-
grateful today.
So, and I'm grateful for having you here. Thank you. I appreciate
John.
it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Next week, next Wednesday, we're going to have Larry Topping from Mayhem here for Q&A. He'll be a week out. We got 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, I know.
And then don't forget tomorrow morning, 7:30 for our daily dose. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Keep
We'll
your
see ya.
rubber to the road.
We'll see everybody tomorrow. Right?
Tomorrow.